what was the impact of the lockdown? Now, if we use the most powerful lever we have in public health, which is to invoke the rule of law to shut down society and keep everybody in their homes, anyone with scientific objectivity would say we need to do a thorough and rigorous evaluation of the results of that intervention. And what they found is that the result was negligible. It was a 0.2%, 0.2% reduction in mortality, which translates to about 1,800 lives. At the same time, we lost 123,000 lives to excess non-COVID deaths, people who died above the standard mortality rate for reasons we have not yet unpacked, where we have ideas as to why they died, but these were not COVID deaths. Now, over 2 years, that's about 250,000 people that died from declining health status. We told people to stay at home. They gained 17 pounds. Turns out the best intervention to fight COVID in year one was staying active and healthy and losing excess body weight. They never talked about obesity. Right. Loneliness and depression were rampant. This is what we needed to focus on, and this is what the study looked at. This is what people still want to talk about at this point. Well, what is the criteria right now for covering health news is whether or not a study gives the results that you like. And if it does not give a result that you like, it gets very little attention. We did a big study on natural immunity out of Johns Hopkins, published in our top medical journal, the Journal of the American Medical Association, showing that natural immunity was effective, it was durable, it was present in 99.3% of people who tested positive for COVID, and it lasted up to 20 months. That has significant policy implications. It really got no coverage outside of the Wall Street Journal and Fox News. And so this is the new measuring stick of whether or not you cover something. Not only do we have curated news now, we have curated science, even at the level of the source institution that's putting it out. And the reality is we've got a small group of doctors making all the decisions in the United States. And I'll tell you, my sources tell me there's been a number of recent meetings among these like-minded doctors, Dr. Fauci and others. They are politically charged, aligned, think similarly. They've shut out other opinions. They've tried to talk about, should we end this and come out like the UK has? They decided against it. They've asked, should we recognize natural immunity? Their own experts were divided, and so they said, no, we're not going to. We should not have that level of concentration of power deciding what is reasonable information and what's not. When the data came out on boosters, Dr. Fauci said this was, quote unquote, dramatic data. It came out of Israel. When the data out of Israel came out on natural immunity, not a word. Didn't even talk about it. So this is the cherry picking of science that we're seeing nowadays.
Because I represent science.